Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are on page 65 of your student journal, and our goal for today is, today I will round to the nearest 10. Okay, so our objective is today I will round to the nearest 10. And our main word today is round. So we'll talk about what rounding means. Let's look at our vocabulary. And it says, our first word is rounding a number. It says, replace the number being rounded with a number that tells about how many. So we round numbers a lot in real life. When we say something's about this, I think about when I use it with money mostly. If I'm at the grocery store and something says it's $1.99, I say that's about $2. It's pretty close to $2. So that's called rounding. I wouldn't say it was about $1, even if it was $1.99, because it's only 1 penny away from $2. So we round all the time in regular life. But we're going to talk about today how to actually do that mathematically. So our next word is estimate, a good, close, and reasonable guess. So sometimes we also call a rounded number an estimate, which means it's an about number as well. Then we have solution, which is the answer. And then we have an example. I'm not going to go over this example for you because I'm going to show you how to do it, but this is a good thing for you to refer back to if you need it. Okay, our steps today are so good, they're just very, very long. So they're here for you to look at if you need them. I'm going to show you them when I do my problem. So I'm going to be following these steps and reading them, but then when you do yours, you can also refer back to these because these are the exact same steps that I'm going to be using when I do my problems. Okay, so I'm going to get started with my problem in my red pen if you want to just sit back and watch. What might be helpful is as I'm working, you might want to follow along with your steps with me and see what step I'm on. Okay, so my first step says, obviously let's read it. Round 753 to the nearest 10. They want me to round to the nearest 10. I'm going to rewrite my number just so it's a little larger and I can work with it. Okay, so step 1 says, I'm going to underline the place value to be rounded and draw a number line. So I know the 3 is in my ones place value, the 5 is in my tens, and the 7's in my hundreds. But they want me to round to the nearest 10, which would be the 5. Okay, and then they also said in step 1 to draw a number line, but they already have it for me. Okay, then it says, identify the value of the underlying number and write it at the beginning of the number line. How much is this 5 worth? What's the value? Well, it's in the tens place, so it means I have 5 tens. 5 tens is 50. So the value of that is 50. So what I'm going to write here is 750. Okay, because this 5 is worth 50. Okay, that's step 2. Step 3 says identify the 10 after the value of the underlined number and write it at the end of the number line. Okay, so because I'm dealing with 10 here, they want me to write the 10 after this, which means 750 and then 10 after that would be 760. That's what they're looking for. So I put the 10 from this and then I put 10 more. Okay, step 4 says, identify the halfway point and write it in the middle. What's right in the middle of 750 and 760? If I was counting, what number is going to be right in the middle? And it might be easy if you just don't think about the 7s, just think about what's in the middle of 50 and 60. And that would be 55. So what's in the middle is 755. Okay, my next step says, record where the number being rounded falls on the number line. So this is my number being rounded, 753. Where would that go? Would it be in this section between 750, 755? Or is it going to be in this section somewhere between 755, 760? Well, 753 is going to be in this section. It's probably going to be somewhere like right about here. 753. I'm thinking it's going to be right about there. Okay, so this is now where I want to think. Because it's on this side, of the middle point, see this middle point? It's over here. That means I'm going to round down. I'm going to round down. It's closer to 750 than to 760. It's closer to this one, which means my answer is 750 because it's closer than to this one. Okay, let's look at another one of these. Okay, I'm going to follow my same steps. It says round 298 to the nearest 10. Okay, so I'm going to start by underlining the place value to be rounded and draw a number line. So I'm rounded to the 10 because that's my ones, tens, and my hundreds. Okay, so my ones, tens, and hundreds. Okay, and then they already have my number line. Step 2 says identify the value of the underlined number and write it at the beginning of the number line. So this 9 is in the tens place value, so it's worth 90. So this is worth 90, but I'm going to write 290 because I need to include the 200. Okay, step 3 says identify the 10 after the value of the underlined number and write it. So what would be 10 after this? If I added 10 to this, I'm going to get 300. Okay, step 4 says identify the halfway point and write the number in the middle. So what's right in between 290 and 300? What's right in between is 295. That's right in between. Okay, my next step says record where the number being rounded falls on the number line. Where does 298 go? Is it going to go here between 290 and 295? Or is it going to go here between 295 and 300? It's going to go here. I think it's probably going to be somewhere like right here. It's probably about right there. Okay, so this is our middle point. Since it's closer to the 300 than to the 290, I'm going to do something called round up. And I'm going to say my answer is 300. So because it's closer to the 300 than the 290, this is my answer. Okay, boys and girls, let's try some of these together. We're on page 66. And here is our first problem on page 66. Now remember, you have those steps right here. So we're going to use these steps and follow them. You might want to leave your book open like this so you can follow the steps with your eyes and with me. Okay, so what does it say first? We're going to underline the place value to be rounded and draw a number line. So it says round 434 to the nearest 10. So they want us to round to the nearest 10, which is the 3, because this is my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. So my tens is the 3. Okay, and they already have our number line. So our next step says identify the value of the underlined number and write it at the beginning of the number line. So what is this 3 worth? I'm going to rewrite it over here so it's a little larger. So that's my ones, my tens, and my hundreds. If this 3 is in the tens column, it's worth 3 tens. So 3 tens is 30. So we're going to put 430 at the beginning of our number line. Okay, step 3 says we're going to identify the 10 after it. So what would 10 after this be? That would be 440. Okay, step 4 says identify the halfway point. What's halfway between 430 and 445? It would be 435. Okay, step 5 says record where the number rounded, this is our number that we're working with, where does it fall? Is it going to be in this section between 430 and 435, or is it going to be in this section? Well, I know 34 is smaller than 35, so it's going to be in this section. I think it's probably going to be somewhere like right here, 434. Okay, so this is our middle point, remember? So since our number is closer to this one than to this, we are going to do something called round down. We're going to, because it's closer to that side than to that side. So our answer is 430, because we choose one of these. So whichever one it's closest to, and this is the middle point. So it was closer to this one than to this one. Okay, let's try another one, boys and girls. Okay, and again, we're just gonna follow our steps. So step 1 says underline the place value being rounded. So it says round 697 to the nearest 10. So we wanna round the tens, or underline the tens place value, and I might write it larger. So my ones, tens, and hundreds. So I'm gonna underline my 9. Okay, step 2 says identify the value of this 9. How much is this worth? Well, if it's 9 tens, it's worth 90. So it wants us to put 690 at the beginning of our number line. Okay, then it says identify the 10 after this. If I added 10 more to 690, I would get 700. Okay, then it wants us to find the middle point. Step 4 says identify the halfway point. What is right between 690 and 700? And it is 695. Okay, step 5 says record where the number rounded would go on our number line. So is 697 in this section, or is it in this section? Well, I know 97 is more than 95, so it's going to be over here. I think it's going to be somewhere like that. Okay, so our final step says decide where it falls and should we round up or down. Well, this is on this side of the halfway point. It's on this side, which means I'm going to do something called round up. And we're going to round up to our 700. So our answer is 700. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, your teacher's going to have you try some of these on your own. Have a great day. Bye-bye.